hand. Do you know if you sniff your own skin, it helps reset your nose, your nostrils for nosing? Freaking learn science every day, right guys? Hey everybody, it's Matt. Wrestling with Whiskey is back again, and today we will be getting into Bardstown Bourbon Company's Discovery Series number 3. And we'll also be looking at number 2, because these two are very different actually. But before we get to that, if you guys want to have all the bourbon news, reviews, and everything with attitudes coming straight to your box, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit those alert buttons so you are the first to know whenever content and Wrestling with Whiskey comes your way. But for now, let's take a look at the Discovery number 3 from Bardstown Bourbon Company. So we have it here in our glass. This is Discovery number 3 from Bardstown Bourbon Company. Awesome, awesome color on that. But I feel like we can't even talk about number 3 without addressing number 2. Because if you've seen some of my other reviews of the Bardstown Bourbon Fusion or earlier Discovery reviews, things like that, from series to series, the mashes and blends have pretty much stayed the same until now. So up until now, I have Discovery number 2 right here. Up until now, I can tell you, 1 and 2 were the same. Same breakdown. We had 44% of a 10-year Kentucky bourbon, 75 corn, 13 rye, 12% malted barley, 39% of a Kentucky bourbon, 12 years old. This is in 2. 74 corn, 18 rye, 8 malted barley. And then we had 17% of a 14-year Kentucky bourbon, 78 corn, 10 rye, 12 malted barley. That's been Discovery 1. That's been Discovery 2 with a little bit of an age change. But Discovery 3 chucks the rule book out the window. Now we are keeping some of the blend in there. So I do have stitty stats on this release. So Discovery number 3 maintains the 74, 18, and 8 bourbon, which is now a 13-year, which, if you've seen my Fusion review, we can pretty safely bet that that's probably coming from Barton 1792 distillery. But now there's only 32% of that as opposed to 39%. So now we're getting different. Coming up next, we have a Kentucky 10-year. This is pretty much the same stuff. It's less than a year older. 75, 13, 12. That's 75 corn, 13 rye, and 12 malted barley, which we can safely assume is either Beam or Wild Turkey based on the mash bill. From what I understand, it's Wild Turkey. But you didn't hear it from me. But here's where the rulebook gets thrown out. The majority of this edition's blend, we have lost that 14-year Kentucky bourbon, the 78, 10 rye, 12 malted barley, gone. But in its place, we have a 13-year Indiana bourbon. 75 corn, 21 rye, 4% malted barley, which we can safely assume potentially from our good friends at MGP. So the numbers have switched around. We've taken one mash out, put another mash in to make this blend happen. This ain't gonna be the same kind of daddy-o. This ain't gonna be the same dance. This isn't the same thing, just a couple months older. That's why I really wanted to do these side by side. And so that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Here we have number 3. Here we have number 2. These almost look the same. I'm gonna have to keep them in the same position. So we'll start with number 2. So this is the original classic Discovery blend. Color on that is fantastic. So this is 44% of the 10-year, 39% of the 12-year, 17% of the 14-year. All Kentucky bourbons. Same proof on both of these of 122, so there's a little bit of that alcohol coming off there. But corn, almost cornbread coming off, dark brown sugar, tons of black pepper. The baking spices are rich caramel, almost like a slight chocolate coming off there too. Before I sip, let's nose Discovery number 3. Right off the bat, it's definitely more herbal right away. Mix it up a little bit. There's a almost grain floral nature to it, herbal. Oh, there's some... Proof is strong in this one too, but there's this cotton candy whiff that almost comes off here. This like a light sugary candy, which again, higher age, higher rye content from that Indiana MGP bourbon could be the cause. It just dances a little bit lighter on the nose compared to a little bit more low, round, bold nature of this more vanilla forward Discovery 2. All right, so let's taste them. Discovery number 2. Strong oak, black pepper spice, huge vanilla, sticking right in the middle of the palate, middle of the tongue with a ton of spice. That Kentucky hug. I mean, it's all Kentucky bourbon, so that Kentucky hug is tight. Lasting finish, deep, kind of a sweeter oak tannins on that. Black pepper, cinnamon and baking spices. Coming with a good amount of clove is in there too. This strong, robust Kentucky bourbon. Like there's nothing kind of beyond that. The blend is incredibly well balanced. It is hot. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we're talking about 122 proof, but it is very, very nice. Probably do well with a cube. I feel like it would do well in something like an eggnog. You know what I mean? It could be cut with something like that, but this is such a magnificent thing on its own. I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing that, but at the end of the day, you bought it, you drink it how you like it. Moving on to Discovery number 3. Once again, there's this candied, spicy, herbal nature that's popping off this one much more than the last, primarily due to that huge influx of aged Indiana bourbon. Ooh, immediately, this is a different beast. The floral, herbal nature of that rye, this light cotton candy nature of that higher rye mash bill, making up most of the blend this time, is really, really nice. Perhaps it's because I just sipped on another 122 proofer, but this drink's much lighter and yeah, the punch in the face is lighter. The spice is less from the burn of the alcohol and all the herbal black pepper spices you're gonna get, mixed in with the vanillas, the caramels, the nougats, the things you'd come to expect from those other Kentucky bourbons are there, but just washed over with this high rye mash bill from Indiana. And it's dangerous. That's 122 proof and it drinks like 110. You know, so still high proof, but if you're an experienced drinker and you're used to barrel proof and stuff like that, this my friends will go down very easy. Like you would think the MGP that everyone loves so much, I don't know, would be lost in such a complex blend with, these other high-age Kentucky bourbons. And I don't know how that MGP profile we know, how prominent will it be? But man, I'm telling you, these are two different beasts. If you love that MGP profile, you will get it with this. I think this is a nice blending of Kentucky meets that Indiana high rye profile. This is a classic, just bold-ass Kentucky bourbon. Two very different beasts, but two very well-balanced, well-put-together blends. I want to say thank you to Bardstown Bourbon Company for providing us with the sample today to try out Discovery Series number 3. This, again, remains at the same MSRP of somewhere right around $120, $130. We don't know exactly when these will be on shelves. I know that they're waiting to kind of move through all the stocks of Discovery 1 and 2 and make sure before we set 3 out onto the world. They've said that they want to wait till that's all through. But I think we're getting down to the wire on that Discovery number 2. So keep an eye out at your local bar, liquor store, retailer, wherever you get your bourbon. Keep an eye out for Discovery number 3. Totally different beast than number 2. Thank you guys once again. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the alerts. Comment below. Let me know what you want to see, what you like, what you didn't like, but what you're doing when you are wrestling with whiskey. We'll see you next time.